Yes, welcome back to the broadcast. This is Power and Politics and the daily report right here on TV47. Mwaura, spokesperson of the government, none other than Isaac Mwaura, who says that a majority of Kenyans are going to get houses tomorrow. So many Kenyans, which I think is something that we appreciate, because then it is basically what we want the government of the day to do for us. And before the break, we had discussed a bit as to what then happens, or Kenya's position as to the question of East African integration. And therefore, while you argue that it is Tanzania's style and way to do things the way they would want to do, what does it do to these calls of East African integration? How do we create a balance such that we do not end up, feeling like there's a lot of animosity across? And I'm asking this because then I've also interacted with pastors that have been here long enough, and they argue that there is a problem that needs to be addressed.
What do you mean by there's a problem that needs?
Well, they say that the East African community and the integration is nowhere nigh, if at all this is the style of operation that we're going to have.
No, I don't agree with that. We now have the same national East African anthem, which you all see.
In fact, some of them say that they were in Tanzania and they never heard us, or never heard them actually sing. But anyway,
well, no, I've been to East Africa. We have sung
across.
That song in East Africa. We sang it in Burundi. We sang it in Tanzania. We sang it in Uganda. In fact, Uganda is very pronounced. And I'm very happy that now it's become part and parcel. Even young children, very little children here in Kenya sing it. And we have a blue passport. We have a common language, Kiswahili, which is very well spoken across East Africa. I've spoken Kiswahili in Kinshasa, Congo. I've spoken it in Uvira, by the border there in Burundi, all the way to Gitega in Rwanda. So let's not try to minimize our contribution. And it has got its own dialect. In fact, when you go to Zanzibar, even their dialect there within, and the one from the Tanzania mainland is different. So East Africa is very diverse. And even when you look at European Union, much as they are countries that are together, they still maintain their original character. So that will remain. We have different levels of development. Kenya is the third largest economy in sub-Saharan Africa. If you look at our GDP per capita, we are number 14 in Africa, much higher than many other countries. So we will always have those disparities. And of course, if you look at Tanzanians, there are things that you like about them. They are very hospitable people. They are very respectful. If you go to Uganda, you find a lot of life, So we will always have that, and that's the beauty. Even here in Kenya, we are from different nations, ethnic nationalities, but then we've concocted ourselves into a nation, a nation state. So I don't think so. I am an East African optimist.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we will shelve that for now. I'm almost tempted to sing the East African community anthem to remind you that they say tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tuilinde jumuiya yetu. And the question is, have you seen the kind of feedback that we have online? The kind of feedback that speaks volumes as to whether really we can maintain this. And I mean, if you are a leader, what you sold, if you read that, then you almost get worried. But all the same, we say at least we have keyboard warriors and we can overlook that. But let's pick some of this feedback also. Adam Muriuki says Gerard Gay, Cheriot and Sudi should be arrested for inciting Kenyans ahead of 2027 too. They said Ruto must win hata kama ni kwa kuiba. Well, whether it's true or not, you would tell us. He should be protected. We urge UN Security Council to give Gachagua security. We have some people who say, whatever it is that Rigathi Gachagua said was misplaced, and therefore that should not be encouraged. Well, they are delaying justice and for those who are affected in 2007 violence, and therefore some of these things will always keep resurfacing. Well, of course, most of the Kenyans perhaps not even aware of what's going on as to the question of justice or what has happened before. There is one, Steve Ogutu, who says, great to see my friend Honorable Mwaura sharing impactful initiatives by the government, that I recently paid him a courtesy visit or courtesy call, and it was wonderful to see the innovations he's introduced at the spokesperson's office to better communicate government programs and policies. I hope that is true.
That's true.
I was particularly inspired by the Government of Kenya Today initiative, a platform he uses to daily share government projects in a concise format. We can only hope that that is the case. But then yesterday I carried a story as to the Haiti mission, which still is in limbo. And of course, the questions then remain. what really is of the mission, and a contentious mission for that matter, the issues that still linger on, how do they get addressed, especially this family that continues to cry for their loved one?
Maybe start with Steve Makogutu on a positive note. Yes, we now do what, before we used to have just only the weekly press briefing, which nowadays I'm doing on Monday.
Right.
But then we are now responding to issues daily. Because news is 24 hours, as you may know. We now have social media. Earlier on, when my predecessors were there was no such use of social media. We are on TikTok. We are also doing GOK today, a single flyer that has got three to five key messages from government on various initiatives. Very popular. We're even doing a 1-minute video about the summary of what has happened in the day. And it's very, very popular because the consultation span that we are having is short. We're also having the GOK Weekly Bulletin, both on video and also on text. And also we have many things that we innovated. We are even starting, other programs, and we can see we are leading and others are following. All right. So we are doing explainers on various issues. We are doing infomercials because we have to speak to this audience that may not necessarily consume media in the way that it used to, or news the way they used to. Right. Now, coming to the issue of Haiti, the primary question remains: Kenya is actually a country that helps in peacekeeping. Our military is renowned in countries such as Namibia. And many African countries that we've gone to help to maintain law and order. And that's the same case that we led in the Haiti multi-national mission. And we have paid the price as a nation, but it is worth it because others also have done so for other countries. So we cannot sit down and say that all of the solutions must come from the West. This is a South-led initiative. Very well funded, and most of the countries, including America, have not withdrawn the funding. So Kenya is just taking the lead to show that then it can be done, but that Black Africans can also provide solutions to themselves, and that's a source of pride. Of course, with our most sincere condolences to those that have departed, fellow Kenyans, and their gallant soldiers who have stood for the nation, for the pride of the nation. And the government will not, leave them. We'll work and ensure that we bring to book anything that requires our attention. And so, therefore, it's a going process. I know there could be still some issues that needs to be addressed, but remain committed.
Yes. Well, of course, not forgetting that the Trump administration also appears not to be very keen on supporting the mission, yet most of the times Kenyans pegged on the fact that, of course, it's a mission that as well is supported by the U.S. Time is out.
Maybe it's to say that over 80% of the mission is well-funded. Because it's not just Trump. Trump administration had remained with only about $15 million US.
Yes.
And of course, there was the commitment by Marco Rubio when they had a conversation with the president. And remember, recently, the Prime Cabinet Secretary was also there, and they have not withdrawn their support. That we must also say.
All right. Of course, congratulations on what you're doing in your specific docket.